So it seems that Mayor Brandon of Chicago and I think Governor Pritzker, we know why now they don't want Donald Jatavius. Javier. They done gave him a middle name, okay? They don't want him to bring the National Guard in. Okay? Chicago, the leaders keep saying, we don't want Donald Trump here. We don't want the National Guard here. I find it actually ironic because when y'all had the Democratic National Convention, you called in the National Guard. You wanted them to protect you during your convention, but not regular Chicago people. Okay. The reason is because if they allow Donald Jatavius, I think that's how you say it. I'm sorry, y'all. I've been watching this other girl and she done gave him a whole name and I love it. They don't want Donald Trump to come in there with the National Guard because if they clean up the crime, Chicago will lose $800 million in federal funding for crime programs. That's why they don't want Donald Trump there. It's all about the money.
Every time a black man dies, Democrats get paid. That's the ugly truth. From BLM donations to campaign funding to media headlines, black pain has become their biggest political asset. And if you don't believe me, I'll show you exactly how they turn tragedy into profit. Look at the numbers. After George Floyd, BLM raised over $90 million in 1 year. Corporate America pledged billions more under pressure. Where did that money end up? Six-figure salaries, luxury real estate, political donations funneled back to Democrat causes. Meanwhile, homicides in black cities rose, fathers stayed locked out of the home, and crime skyrocketed. The communities never saw that money. The party did. This is how the cycle works. 1, a tragedy happens. 2, the media amplifies it. 3, Democrats ride in as saviors. 4, donations flood through movements like BLM. 5, the money gets laundered into campaigns, consulting firms, and party infrastructure. Result, families stay broken, but the political machine gets stronger. And here's the kicker. Democrats don't actually want the killing to stop, because the second it does, the donations dry up. That's why you never see them celebrating peace, only mourning violence.
But here's the point. Brandon Johnson wants Washington, D.C. to send $800 million to the city of Chicago so they can disperse that money to local 501c3s. This is about a money grab. This is a money play. This has nothing to do with reducing violence. This is about Brandon Johnson wanting to get his hands on $800 million so he can give that money to his friends on the west and the south sides of Chicago, which again are private 501c3s.
Pain is their payday. I watched this happen my whole life. Every election cycle is the same play. They highlight the worst, milk the outrage, and promise hope. And after the election, same broken neighborhoods, same missing fathers, same kids becoming hashtags, because keeping us in crisis keeps them in power.
Is that your way of saying that you felt the left did that to us, that they just disregarded black folks?
Stephen A., they've been giving us the middle finger since I can remember. All the way back from the Ku Klux Klan. They have never supported black people whatsoever. They hoodwinked us into getting us on food stamps and getting us with government assistance, having us to abandon our own success. We had our own bus line. We had our own schools. We had all this stuff. They tricked us into believing that the white man was the cure to our own issues.
Okay. They
tricked us. And then now look at us, Stephen A. They don't have to bid for our vote. They got our vote hook, line, and sinker.
Well,
so they're never going to do nothing for us.
That part I get. But when you say they did nothing, I'm thinking about civil rights legislation. I'm thinking about infrastructure. I'm thinking about Jim Crow laws, the eradication of it. I'm thinking about the access to capital that was given, that black folks had date from the 60s and beyond that we didn't have before that. Are you saying that's the
Stephen A.,
Republicans
that's
instead of the liberals?
Republican, unanimous Republican votes for the civil rights. The Democrats filibustered the Civil Rights Act, the longest filibuster in history until Booker just did what he did. But the Democrats were not in support of that. That was the Republican Party that was in support of that. And then let's go down the list. If these things were benefiting black people, why are we still complaining today? We've been voting for Democrats for, 40, 50 years now, lockstep, and we still complaining. We still don't have the rights that we want. We still don't have equality in America. Racism is still plaguing our community, according to black people. So what have they been doing this whole time? And when you look at it, they have just secured our vote, and they don't have to do nothing for us. And this is what we've created, Stephen A. We've created an environment where we don't benefit from none of it because the Democrats don't have to work because they know I already got us. The Republicans don't need to work because they can win without us.
I've been saying that.
Think about the numbers. In 2020, during BLM's peak, over 10,000 black men were murdered nationwide. That's a homicide rate so high it should have triggered a national emergency. But what did Democrats do? They pushed more funding into BLM and police reform campaigns, not into rebuilding families, not into job creation, not into strengthening fathers in the home, because fixing the problem ends the profit. And I know somebody gonna say, but Republicans don't care either. But tell me this, which party depends on your pain for power? Which party runs on fear and funerals? Which party keeps preaching victimhood while cashing checks off your blood? Don't dodge the answer. This is why I told you in the last video, Trump saved more black lives in a week than BLM did in its entire existence. Because Democrats don't want peace, they want pain. And in my next video, I'm breaking down exactly how fatherhood, not politics, is the real solution to rebuilding the black community. Watch that one, because it's the truth nobody wants to say out loud. Drop a comment. Do you think Democrats actually want the violence to end, or do they need it to keep power? Hit that like, subscribe, and let's talk about it.